Hello and welcome to the audio commentary for Bargain at Bravebank, the first book in the Legacy of Lucky Logan weird western slash science fiction western, possibly fantasy western series. Lovely mashup that it is. Um, yes, I am the author, J.R. Frontera. You can just call me Jenny though. I will just be going through Bargain at Brave Bank in this commentary and kind of giving you the inside look as far as what went on behind the scenes during writing it. I will also comment on the real life locations that some of the book locations are based on, stuff like that. So I'm going to be going through generally chapter by chapter. If you want to follow along, you can grab the PDF digital copy, or you can go through along the paperback. I'm going to be using a paperback for myself because I don't know, I like paperbacks the most. And then we will go right into chapter 1, a predicament. So we'll just start at the beginning here. All right, so this whole series started because years and years ago, the husband and I had played Red Dead Redemption and we enjoyed it a lot. I ended up not finishing it because it was a little bit same old, and really I get kind of lost in video games that are completely open world because I get distracted very easily and I want to go off and, do all these other things, and it's hard for me to stay on course and actually finish the thing. But my husband played the whole thing and ended up telling me the end, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is heart-wrenching and so, full of terrible angst," which I love angst. So, while I was like, "Wow, I can't believe they did that," in the game, it kind of stuck with me. And then when they released the sequel, Red Dead Redemption 2, I definitely knew I wanted to play it, and I did. I finished it in about 6 months. I do think that the story in Red Dead Redemption 2 was stronger than in the first one, which is what kept me going on it. But long story short, when I got to the end of Red Dead Redemption 2, and again, it was heart wrenching, full of crazy angst, I sort of had a sense of wanting revenge almost. Like I was angry. Well, it was a love-hate relationship really with the game developer Rockstar Games. Because they had ripped my heart out multiple times now. And so I kind of was like, I want to create something that will give people that same feeling of, you know, like, ouch, this hurts, but also it's really good. So I wanted to sort of capture that feeling in my own story. And Red Dead Redemption 2 also made me realize that I really, really liked the Western genre, which I had never consciously realized, which I'm finding out now is actually a very common thing. A lot of people actually like the Western genre a lot more than they think they do, but it's not something that they consciously realize. It's very strange. I don't know why that is, but after I had that realization and I started looking back at like some of my favorite movies, TV shows, and went through my old sketchbooks because I used to draw a lot. I haven't in a very long time now, and I've never been able to draw people, but I have always loved drawing like horses and dragons. But going back through my sketchbooks, I realized there was a lot of cowboy stuff in there, which was kind of amusing to me years later to realize. But the gist of all of this is that I decided, well, I want that same feeling that Red Dead Redemption 2 gave me, and I love this Western genre anyway, and I love some of the tropes that the game had brought up, and I want to explore them myself. And, you know, in my opinion, I wanted to do it even better than Rockstar had done it. I wanted to explore some things that they didn't go into deep enough for me personally, so I wanted to go deeper into those things. And so this series was born, Legacy of Lucky Logan. Originally, it was going to be just a historical Western. So when I started this first chapter, a predicament. It was supposed to be a historical Western. And also, that first chapter was actually supposed to be the like a prequel short story that I was going to give away to people for free to get them interested in the main series. And the main series was just going to be a trilogy. Um, so I ended up writing this first chapter, the whole thing, and I sent it off to 6 people to beta read for me and let me know what they thought of it. Um, and every single one of the 6 people came back and said, this is not a prequel short story. This is the start of a novel. So you just need to write this whole book. And that really surprised me actually, because I had a vague idea. You know, this first chapter was supposed to be the beginning of the backstory of the main series. So I had a vague idea of what that backstory was going to be, obviously. Um, but I didn't have any details. You know, I didn't have all the specifics. So I was like, but, you know, that's not what the series was supposed to be. The series was supposed to be, you know, these other 3 books. And those beta readers came back and said, well, why don't you just make it a longer series? You know, series can be longer than 3 books. Hello, Revelation, right? Duh. So the more I thought about it, the more I realized that they were probably right, and more books in a series can't be a bad thing, right? It just means there's more for readers to read and more books for me to sell. So why not? Uh, but yeah, that's the first and only time so far that that's happened. So needless to say, that one chapter short story ended up being another 3 books, and that is why the Lucky Logan series is now 6 books instead of 3. Originally, I had only planned 4, 5, and 6, and then as I got into book 1, the storyline for books 2 and 3 solidified as I was working on book 1. So I will kind of go through the rest of this book now. Now that you have the entire backstory to this series, I will go through and kind of tell you how it developed and how it progressed.